Howdy, I'm CyberX with Outlandishly Reported, and I wanted to do a talk about player characters and attractive characters in video games. There's a big subject that seems to be missing that I want to bring up. I started gaming in the 80s. Um, yeah, I'm boldy. I'm a baldy. I'm old. And there weren't a lot of female choices for characters in the 80 games or the 90 games. It took a while for female characters as the main player to even be allowed. And this concept of attractive characters, I think Asmon and this lady have been really covering and talking about the subjects pretty well. But there's a huge missing piece that nobody's talked about in any of these videos or nobody's brought up. So if you haven't checked out these videos, you should go check them out. I think they bring up a lot of good points, but they're missing one critical piece. I, as CyberAxe online, um, think of my virtual character as a female. So CyberX is a female character in the cloud, and I typically always play a female character in any game I do, any game I'm playing. I pick the female, and people will watch me stream or watch us play games, and they'll say, "Why are you always a female?" And this is, it's a conversation today, but this was like really a conversation 15, 20 years ago when there was all males playing the games, almost all males in the game as the character, and there was almost no females in any of it. And so it always stood out that I was playing a female character, regardless of what I was playing. And so I want to get into why. And the main reason is I'm not gay. I don't want to look at a male ass for 100 hours in a game. That seems kind of gay. Um, and I understand where Asmon's coming from, where Asmon's saying, hey, well, I want to play as this character because I'm replicating me inside the virtual world and I want to play as me. But once again, I think CyberAxe is a female in the virtual world, but CyberAxe as a real person doesn't want to be staring at a male ass uh, for 20, 30 years. Let's talk about Halo. Do I want to be looking at a male ass, or do I want to be looking at a nice Cortana ass? And this doesn't matter in first person, but in third person, and when we're playing in vehicles and we're playing in countless other things, and there's tons of cutscenes and there's all of these others, especially when you're playing something like this, where you're running around and jumping and doing all of these things. Do I really want to be watching a male ass, or do I want to be watching a female ass? And you may say, well, you're not really watching it because you're just the player character. Well, it's there on the screen for hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of hours of gameplay. And I would put forth, without any scientific backing, that maybe a percentage of the gamers are gay because they stared at men's ass in video games for their whole life. To the point where that's what they had uh, you know, that kick of adrenaline every time they get an award, and the award is watching a male ass in the screen. Maybe there's some psychological connections there that nobody's talking about. You could almost say that maybe it's a conspiracy to make men more gay and docile and, with all of the other DEI and woke stuff. But I don't think early game developers understood or cared about any of that stuff, especially because if you look at the pixelization and how the designs were. I mean, in some of these, it was pretty harsh. And you could probably, you could go back and say, well, what about Overhead and all the other games, or Baldur's Gates, or, all the Ultimas of the world. But same thing, if I'm looking down on a character, I'd still rather see an attractive character. Um, Now, you could say, well, you're putting yourself in that position as a female carrying out all these rules, which does beg a question that I asked myself in Baldur's Gate 3, and in some other games. If there's relationships in the game and you play a female character and then you're having a relationship with a male character, is that gay? Because you're the human having it, or is it the female? I mean, it's an interesting question. However, my response to people for the last 35 years of why do you play a female character is because I'm not gay. I don't want to look at a or a male ass all day while I'm playing this video game versus, a nice female ass. It's a big difference. So it's just one of those things that I think hasn't been talked about. And I get Asmon's point of, hey, I want to represent myself and I want to be a buff, cool guy. But I'm not on that side. I would rather look at a attractive female running around doing kick-ass stuff, um, regardless of how, like Assassin's Creed, how ridiculous it is that some little chick is kicking the ass out of all of these guys. But that's kind of the fantasy world. I mean, you have shows like Chuck that have that type of stuff where some, CIA chick is kicking the crap out of all of these FBI and NSA guys, and it's kind of just the fun of the show and the concept. Yeah, it's not realistic, but it's haha. But when we're talking about this type of stuff, I, I really think that people are missing a huge part of the equation here. Like, come on. TV shows, movies, video games, even books. Even books have attractive people in them, so when it's in your imagination, they're descriptive. Do you want to read a book where the guy's got a fat ass and he's like 500 pounds and he like bumps into everything and he jiggles? Or do you want to read a book where the chick's got a hot ass and she's attractive and she's just rocking the world? So it's just one of those things. And I'm not saying if you are straight and you play a male guy that you're gay. It just seems odd that you'd like to look at a male dude's ass all day. I don't know. It just seems a big thing that's missing in this entire conversation that somebody's got to bring up. So I guess it's gonna be CyberX. So that's all I got. I am CyberX with Outlandishly Crafted and Outlandishly Reported is what we're doing today. And this has been my chat on the ass. Would you like to look at a male ass or a nice female ass while you play the video game? So I have been pushing for female characters in games since they began, not for woke, not for DEI, but because I'm not gay and I would like to look at a female ass while I play a video game. Seems pretty logical to me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a new channel, so if you could help us out, appease the overlords, that would be great. Thank you for watching.